I'm News Center Maine meteorologist Jason Nappy tracking the storm and the latest details tonight, Sunday night into Monday. This storm, it's about a 24-hour give or take, and right now the radar is lit up. Night vision SatRad showing rain from Presque Isle down to Kittery, back to Eastport, over to Rangeley, into the Oxford Hills. It is going to be raining and raining heavily. Look down south to the mid-Atlantic and Delmarva. You see that's where the yellows, reds are popping up. The moisture is going to be coming up from the south here. And it's easy to see in the water vapor imagery what's happening. The white, that's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, all this white here. Here, this is dry air coming in the backside of the cold front down towards Louisiana, mouth of Mississippi right there. Out ahead of that, we're going to have all this moisture from the Gulf of Mexico just completely wrung out on top of us here. It's a fire hose of moisture that's coming up from the Gulf of Mexico. Call it semi-tropical if you will, but the wind out of the south right now, we have low pressure to our north and west, a warm front to our south. This warm front's going to push north, bring the warm air, and then open up the floodgates. And that's a bad pun there. Really didn't mean that, but definitely going to bring in all kinds of moisture with a cold front to our west. It's a perfect setup to give us flooding, which is unfortunate because that's what we don't need, obviously, with this storm starting to fire up here by 7 o'clock this evening as I'm recording this for you into tonight, Rockland, Wiscasset. It's the first just kind of wave of the heavy rain coming through. No snow yet by 9 o'clock. That will change as the cold front will be knocking on the door. The cold air, see a north wind coming down from the mountains. That's going to bring the cold air down. So kind of a small period of freezing rain and sleet here in the western mountains before everything goes top to bottom 32 all snow. Now, along the coastline, we got big problems 11 o'clock. This is the coastal front setting up with temps in the 50s here, and the wind just kind of meeting up right there. And that's going to be the focal point and the mechanism that's going to just drive all of that rain along the coastal fronts here, especially on just the eastern side of the front, and that's where the wind's going to be too here. So there's the coastal front, temps in the 40s and 50s right after midnight tonight. Here's the snow up in the Allagash, the western mountains, up in Coos County in New Hampshire, and it's still raining heavily at 3 o'clock while you're sleeping. You'll hear this rain, this wind-driven rain where the front is, east of the front. And west of the front, you're not going to hear a lot of wind at all. It'll be almost kind of dead quiet before things get cranking on Monday. Now, at 5 o'clock in the morning, notice it's still raining heavily. I mean, this is hours after hours of just pounding rain coming down, very steady. Not thunderstorms, but definitely a good quarter inch an hour, half inch even up to an hour type of rain, depending how heavy it gets. But right now, it's going to be, I think, a quarter to a third of an inch is where you see these yellows. And then by 9 o'clock, here comes the low-level jet. So that's the kind of the atmosphere's way of, think about like a plane in the sky flying low. You got the wind, and then you get a gust of that, makes it down to the ground here. So that's going to be just kind of screaming through Monday morning, transporting that wind down to the ground level. In the backside of the storm, look at the snow. The computer model here saying it's going to be snowing in Lewiston at noon tomorrow. I mean, that's how aggressive the cold air advection is going to be. At front side of that storm, though, it's rain and it's heavy at times. And that means 1 to 2 from Rockland, Midcoast, Ellsworth, Bar Harbor, Eastport, Calais, and also 1 to 2 up in the mountains before it changes over to rain. 2 to 3 inches here, you see in the yellow shade here, back to 3 to 4. And that's going to be a place like the Capital Region, Kennebec River Valley, back to Casco Bay, all the way up Bangor, Penobscot. I mean, a lot of heavy rain coming down there. So then that's one side of the storm. Here's the other side. It's the snow coming down, 6 to 12 inches western mountains, plus, because it only takes an hour or two sooner for the cold air to get there before you get more snow. 3 to 6 inches as you go down close to the foothills, and 1 to 3, a very fine line there because of the cold front and the cold air coming down. And 1 to 3 are a trace to 1 as you head down to the Oxford Hills around Freiburg or so. The wind forecast has changed dramatically in the last 24 to 36 hours, with the coastal front being just offshore, just a little bit here. Okay, that takes the wind down considerably from Rockland, which is at 40, or Wiscasset, to 11 miles an hour. But look at Bar Harbor, 44, and eventually jumps up low-level jet coming through Bar Harbor to the 60 mile per hour, even 70, 75 miles an hour. you cannot rule that out here down east. That's why power outages are a big-time threat there. And then on Monday, we'll get that westerly breeze to dry things out and hopefully dry out the ground too, so we don't get a big Monday night flash freeze up north. Flash flood threat is up, rising rivers and streams. It will be a very difficult morning commute Monday and also kind of a lunch hour commute too. If you want to follow along on the socials for more updates, I'll be doing that all night and into Monday for the recap. I appreciate you being here. Get you back to newscentermaine.com.